What's up, creeps? Exorcist here, and I am coming at you today from the SCURRED studio to talk about the 2021 film The Unholy, featuring none other than Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Many Walking Dead fans, of course, know him as Negan. That's like his breakout role. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan, totally a stud. I was really excited about this film. When you see previews, you see trailers of things like this, you get these bits and pieces, and you're like, ooh, this looks good. So really highly anticipated for me to see this film. Overall, before we get too far into the plot stuff, let's talk about what we call this kind of film. I mean, this is definitely a paranormal film, but it has some religious context to it, as well as some psychological stuff. So it's more like a psychological paranormal kind of film. And there's parts where you're watching it and you're like, I don't know if I need to watch this again or if I should just rewind that one part. Like, what should I do here? Watch it a couple times. I tell you that with almost all of these videos, it seems like. But this one's really good, and it's worth watching a couple times. So this brings us back a little bit as we get into the overall plot. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is kind of this journalist, and yeah, I don't know if you want to call him a disgraced journalist necessarily, but he's a journalist that is at the bottom of where he was. He's no longer on top, really high up there in the writing ranks. I don't know, it's debatable whether he did some unethical stuff and so on and so forth. But he hears about this like thing happening in this little tiny New England town. And as he hears about it, people keep referring to these things as miracles. Now, miracles are, things that can't be explained as we know them to be humanly possible. So it's things that are outside of what is humanly possible. And naturally, as a journalist, somebody hears this and they're like, oh man, I better go check this out, see what's happening. So when we get into the very beginning of the film, it gives us some backstory about the 1800s. There was this witch named Mary Eleanor, and she was hanged from a tree. They lit her on fire. It was a big deal. Before she dies, somehow she binds herself to this doll. Long time later, this doll ends up getting crushed, and that will basically release the spirit of Mary Eleanor the witch. So doing that, we hear about this girl and these miracles that are coming about, and her name is Alice Paget. So as we get into it, Alice is deaf, she can't hear, couldn't have spoken, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character Jerry is like, I gotta see what's going on here. This is odd. So all of a sudden Alice starts talking, and the whole community's like, what the heck just happened? I was gonna say what the hell just happened, but it's a miracle, so it's not a hell thing, right? Or is it? We'll get to that. But basically, once this happened, she's like, yeah, this is how the whole thing worked. I was cured by the Virgin Mary. So if you've seen any of the trailers to this, you've read about it a little bit, you've watched parts of it, you'll see that, even on the cover of it, you have the Virgin Mary like praying. It's very alarming. And to hear that there's this, sighting of the Virgin Mary that has cured a girl that couldn't speak, can't hear, it's, no, this isn't happening. So he sticks around. He befriends the girl, and he says, who are you speaking to? And she says, it's Mary. I'm always speaking to Mary. And, her assumption the whole time is it's the Virgin Mary. And we later find out in the movie, little spoiler, not a big one because we're not big on it, this is not the Virgin Mary, okay? This is something far darker, much more sinister, and it actually really starts to cause problems. There's further miracles that make it believable, like, wow, this is something happening. But you have to remember that the enemy is the trickster of lies, okay? Trickster, lies, that's what he does. So he wants you to get these false beliefs, these false hopes, and all of a sudden, boom. You think the whole time you've been talking to the Virgin Mary, and you've been talking to pretty much the exact opposite. So, pretty crazy stuff. I mean, you got to watch it to really catch the whole thing, which is what we do here on SCURRED. We encourage you to watch movies or not watch movies, and I will encourage you to watch this one. So as far as jump scares go, this one doesn't have a whole bunch of like kind of stuff, but it does have its occasional bursts. More so, what you're doing the whole time is going, this seems darker than it is good. This is not normal. And there's a couple that'll make you, grab onto your seat. But as far as jump scares, not a bunch of them in there. Where it really gets you is in your head, and you start to think a lot of different things before you come to the end of this whole journey. So very confusing there. I am typically the one that says horror movies at the end ruin everything. And this one, I don't want to say it ruins it, but it's following pretty close to getting into, the CGI stuff, and you're going, it was better before this whole thing was revealed. Leave some mystery to these things. People, come on. You bring out the big, scary, ugly monster demon thing at the end of all of these movies, the thing that's been in the shadow the whole time, and it just ruins it. Was this ending ruined? I don't know if I'd call it fully ruined, but it probably wasn't the way I would have ended the movie. Let's put it that way. So do I give it a good ending approval? If we were doing 1 to 10 on ending approval, I'd give it about a 6. So, but it's a great movie. Through and through. Watch it all the way. Once you get to the end, you'll go, The Exorcist, you're right. Overall SCURRED on the SCURRED scale from 1 to 10, 1 being, fluffy marshmallows, unicorns and fairies, 10 being I peed. Gonna give this one a good solid 6.5. I think 6.5 is pretty good. It's more psychological than it is anything. Is it absolutely terrifying? Is it something that's gonna give you nightmares all night? No, probably not. The production value of it, the actual story, is probably higher than a 6.5. I'd give that probably a 7 or an 8. It's very entertaining. But is it scurry? And really the answer is not very much. When you look at other movies in this genre that are a 7 or an 8, this one just doesn't compare to that overall. So I would give it a 6.5, solid 6.5. And would I recommend it? Would I recommend this movie overall? I absolutely would recommend The Unholy. Even though we're only giving it a 6.5 on the SCURRED scale, it's a great story. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I don't care if he is singing Rubber Ducky on YouTube. The guy is entertaining to watch. He's absolutely brilliant. And in this movie, it's no different. Anything with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, watch it. He's that good. In this movie, just as well. It's different seeing him Walking Dead, and he's getting these cracking skulls and whatnot. He's pretty mild in this, pretty even-keeled, but he plays that part really well. So do check it out. Overall, yes, I would recommend The Curse. Sorry, not The Curse. The Unholy. I was going to talk about The Curse in my next video. Also good movie. The Unholy. It's a 2021, so don't get it confused with another one that happened back in 1988. Very different movies. This one's better. So you want to check it out, you can do that. I will leave a link down below in the description for Prime. You can find it there. You can rent it, buy it. I don't know that it's included for free yet. It's a relatively new movie on Prime services. But I will drop a link down in the bottom regardless. So overall, The Unholy, 6.5 on the SCURRED scale, 8 in a watch it. Recommended? Absolutely. Check it out. Okay? As always, please like, subscribe, share, comment. We try our best to always get back to people in comments. In fact, I don't know that we've ever missed one, but keep it going. We'd love to hear from you guys. We'd love to hear your opinions. If you watch The Unholy, after this review, or you've watched it and you just want to comment, love to hear what you have to say about it, and give us a number. Give us your number on the film. So click the bell, click the subscribe button, and keep checking us out. More content on the SCURRED channel. So as we always say, I'm Exorcist, and until next time, sleep tight.